world-famous hot springs, wild bison on the Alcan, the turquoise waters of Muncho Lake, a crazy campsite conundrum, the highest point on the Alaska Highway, and the best cinnamon buns in the north. Welcome back, fellow travelers. In this episode, our journey south continues as we explore the incredible sights and surprising tastes of the Northern Rockies along the Alaska Highway. We travel south from Watson Lake into British Columbia to Liard River Hot Springs, Muncho Lake, and our final stop, the Buffalo Inn at Pink Mountain. With Watson Lake and its incredible signpost forest in the rearview mirror, our journey south on the Alcan officially begins. First things first, though, we need to fuel up. We keep hearing that Tags is the place to do it here in Watson Lake. Alright, a short and sweet fuel stop, just the way we like it. Now it's time to figure out where we're stopping for the night. A quick look at iOverlander shows a potential boondocking spot about 100 miles down the road. Our plan is to take a look, and if it feels right, we'll settle in there for the evening. Wow, look at those beautiful wetlands down there on the right. Scenery like that on the Alcan usually means one thing. That's right, it's the perfect time to get the drone in the air for a better look. It's moments like this that you just have to pause for. The whole landscape is bathed in that soft, golden afternoon light. This is the classic landscape of the northern boreal forest. It's a vast mosaic of spruce trees and muskeg, all these wetlands and ponds that were carved out by glaciers thousands of years ago. It's a beautiful but incredibly challenging terrain to travel through. All right, we're rolling again. Next up is Fireside. It's not much more than a gas station and a lodge, but it's a vital stop on this remote stretch of the Alcan. You know, something is different about the river here. The peaceful flow is giving way to something more restless. In this section, the river really shows its power. You can see the current churning through those rocks. Definitely not a place you'd want to be in a canoe. Looking at this water, it comes as no surprise what the map calls this stretch. It's appropriately named Whirlpool Canyon. This is the point in the day where we have to make a choice. We always try to get to a boondocking spot with daylight to spare, so it's time to roll. A little further down the highway from the canyon, we come across the Coal River. And the Coal River Lodge, a crucial outpost on this lonely stretch of highway. For travelers, a spot like this with food, fuel, and lodging is a very welcome sight. And here we are at our potential home for the night. The entrance looks promising, but the real question is whether we can find a spot that's level and big enough for the rig. Okay, this is an unusual layout for a road. It's almost like two parallel tracks with this wide grassy median in the middle. Wait a second. Looking closer at the map, this isn't a road at all. We're driving on the old Liard River airstrip. That explains everything. It's an abandoned relic from World War II. You just never know what you're going to stumble upon out here. This is what the adventure is all about. This is the point where you know it's time to cut your losses. We've just enough room to make a U-turn here, so we're taking the opportunity and we're going to head back to the highway. While it's not a spot for us to camp for the night, what an amazing piece of history to stumble upon. But with daylight fading, we'd better continue looking. Alright, new plan. Liard River Hot Springs is just 20 miles down the highway, so we're heading straight there to see if we can snag a campsite for the night. The one thing working in our favor is the time of year. Since we're here late in the season, our odds of finding an open spot are much better. Or so we hope, at least. And it looks like there's another option right here if we need it. We're still hoping for a spot at the hot springs, but it's good to know there's a place with services nearby if that falls through. Okay, moment of truth. We see other RVs camped on the right, which is a good sign the park's open, and possibly a bad sign that it's already full. Let's pull in and find out. Hello there. I don't know if do you guys have room for...
We only have overflow across the road right now. Yeah, that's all we have.
So, is there a charge for that?
Yes, it's $26 a night if you want to stay over there.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can all use the hot springs today and tomorrow. If you do want to stay there, I'll get you to come inside, please.
So, our spot is in the overflow lot, but we're getting a nice little tour of the main campground on our way out. It looks beautiful in here, but at this point in the day, we're just happy to have a place to park for the night. It's funny how it works out. After that whole adventure searching for a boondocking spot, we end up paying for what is basically a boondocking spot. It might just be a gravel lot, but the engine is off and the slide is coming out. This is officially home for the night. It's a beautiful morning here at Liard River, and even though our spot is right next to the highway, you get a great night's sleep because the traffic on the Alcan really quiets down after dark. And now for the main event, the reason we stopped here. Let's head across the road and see these famous hot springs for ourselves. Before you can head down the boardwalk, there's a $5 day use fee. Wow, the walk to the springs is an experience in itself. This elevated boardwalk is incredible, and when you look down, you realize you'd be slogging through a swamp without it. The welcome sign gives us our bearings and a concept to keep in mind as we explore this Oasis of Warmth. This beautiful oasis has more to its story than just the warm water. To really understand its importance today, you have to look back at how this place came to be the landmark it is. Long before any highway existed, this area was a vital spiritual and healing site for the local Cascadene First Nation. The warm water creates this incredible microclimate, a pocket of warmth that attracts animals year-round and allows tropical-looking plants to grow here that you won't find for hundreds of miles. It truly is an oasis. But its modern story kicks into high gear in 1942, as thousands of U.S. Army soldiers raced to build the Alaska Highway during World War II. They stumble upon this incredible natural spa. To get some relief from the backbreaking work, they bulldoze a path and build the very first rustic log and gravel pool right where the main pool is today. Once the war is over and the highway opens to the public, word gets out. The springs become so popular that in 1957, the government steps in to create the provincial park we see today, protecting the fragile ecosystem and ensuring it remains for future generations. The amazing thing about this Oasis of Warmth is that it's not just the hot water. but the separate little world it creates. The steam hangs thick in the air, creating a bubble of humidity that defies the northern climate. And inside that bubble, you'll find this secret garden of lush green ferns and delicate flowers that have no business growing this far north. It's a completely different universe from the boreal forest just a few feet away. It's like a pocket of the tropics has been stitched directly into the fabric of the wild north. On our way out, we're taking a stroll through the main campground. This gives you a look at the coveted spots you get when you're lucky enough, or smart enough, to book a reservation months in advance. It's obvious this campground is very well cared for. Everything is so clean and organized. That level of quality really seems to be a hallmark of the provincial parks around here. Yes, the facilities here are top-notch. Even this guy thinks so. You have to appreciate the park's sense of humor. Just in case you forgot you didn't book ahead, they post this helpful sign as a final reminder. A little salt in the wound. And it seems they are very serious about keeping the overflow campers from mingling. They have what appears to be an electric fence guarding the main campground. What a fascinating stop that was. But the clock is ticking, so we're making our way back to the RV. It's time to get rolling and see what else the Alcan has in store for us. Next up on the Alaska Highway, the iconic Muncho Lake Provincial Park. Here we come. This is where the highway and the Great Liard River finally part ways. It's been our travel partner for the last couple of days, and it's strange to think this is probably our final view of its powerful current. It doesn't take long for the highway to remind you just how wild this place is. We're slowing down for a huge herd of wood bison, completely unbothered by us as we pass by. Leaving the bison behind, the highway begins to climb, taking us into the heart of the Northern Rockies and the gateway to Muncho Lake Provincial Park. Our destination in the park comes courtesy of a hot tip from our friends Steve and Jane. They told us about a beautiful campground up the road, and that's where we're pointing the rig to right now. Okay, a fuel stop up ahead. Since they're pretty few and far between on this stretch, we'd better take a look. And nope, that's a hard pass for us. We're choosing to believe we have enough fuel in the tank to find a better price down the road. The drive along Muncho Lake is just as stunning as everybody says. You're right between the turquoise water and the mountains. We're noticing lots of pullouts, and you have to wonder if camping is allowed. It might not be the most peaceful spot on the highway, but you certainly can't beat the price or the view. You know that sinking feeling you get when you're heading for a first come, first served spot and there's another RV right in front of you and you just know they're about to take the last sight? But not today. That RV is continuing down the highway, which means we still are in the running. And we've arrived. Welcome to Strawberry Flats Campground. What an incredible location, right on the edge of the lake. It's a beautiful campground, no doubt. Now the only question is whether there's a spot we can actually fit into. You absolutely cannot make this up. We pull in and snag Site 13. And it turns out to be the exact same site Steve and Jane just left this morning. What are the odds of that? And this is the view from our site. People can tell you a place is beautiful, but this is on another level. This is the ultimate reward at the end of a long day on the road. The shoreline here is just covered in wild rose bushes, which is incredible. It's early September now, so the flowers are long gone, but you can just picture this whole area covered in pink a month or two ago. And that right there is a perfect example of why people travel with kayaks. This calm turquoise water is just begging to be paddled. With the rig parked and the view properly admired, there's just one more task on the list, a walk up to the entrance to settle up for our site. Okay, $20 Canadian for the night. After seeing some of the fuel prices on this highway, finding a waterfront campsite for this price feels like winning the lottery. Thank you, Golden Anniversary Adventure, for this excellent recommendation. Tonight's dinner is a new dish I'm calling Northern Thai, as in really far north. Dang is cooking up a delicious stir fry, and the star ingredient is the ground yak we need to use up. I don't think they teach that recipe in Bangkok. The process starts with getting the wok screaming hot. A little peanut oil goes in, followed by the garlic, just until it's fragrant and golden brown. Next, the ground yak goes into the wok. You can hear that sizzle as it hits the hot pan, and she begins to sear it with the garlic. Once the yak is brown, she tosses in a big handful of onions and red bell peppers, bringing some beautiful vibrant color to the wok. Now some chopped tomatoes and broccoli florets join the party in the wok. Alright, it's time to sauce it up. In goes the essential fish sauce, followed by some Thai soy sauce. And then a few squirts of oyster sauce, and a little bit of sugar balances the saltiness, and the seasoning is done. And with perfect timing, the rice finishes steaming. A quick fluff with the paddle, and dinner is officially served. But where are the chilies, you might be asking? Oh, don't you worry. For this dish, they're served on the side as namprik. With dinner all cleaned up, we're taking advantage of the last bit of daylight for a short walk to explore the rest of this beautiful park. Our campground is on a small point of land, so the loop around it's pretty quick walk. As we stroll through, something else across the highway catches our eye. The light's definitely starting to fade, so we know we can't go far. Still, our curiosity gets the better of us, and we have to take a quick peek. It's clearly a trail, but for the life of us, we can't figure out what it's called. So if you've hiked here before, we'd love for you to drop a comment below. Back at the campground, we're now taking the scenic route home. Our path follows the tranquil shoreline of Muncho Lake, leading us right back to our campsite for the night. Here's a great feature for anyone who travels with a kayak. The campground has its own dedicated launch, which makes getting out onto this beautiful lake really easy. And on that peaceful note, that's a wrap for our day. We'll see you all in the morning. Good morning from Muncho Lake. This is one of those bittersweet travel mornings. A single day in a place this stunning is nowhere near enough. But the Alaska Highway is calling, and we have to keep moving south. And now, the familiar departure routine begins. The Starlink comes down, the slide rolls in, and we say quick goodbye to our lakeside neighbors, the ducks. Okay, we're back on the move and heading into a pretty noteworthy stretch of the Alcan. It's a part of the drive that has a unique claim to fame, and which we're excited to see. And that unique claim to fame? We're now on the ascent to Summit Pass, the single highest point on the entire Alaska Highway, right alongside the beautiful Summit Lake. Our new travel partner is the scenic Toad River, named for, you guessed it, the massive number of western toads that make this valley their home. Okay, we're pulling into the fuel pumps at Tetsa River Lodge, and not a moment too soon. We're definitely cutting it a little closer than I like after deciding to pass on that last fuel stop. We're keeping our eyes peeled for a good pull-off for a very specific reason. Park regulations mean we can't fly the drone inside the boundaries, so this stretch of road between the parks is our golden opportunity. This is it, a perfect, safe place to pull over. Honestly, the view from the road is incredible, but to truly do this landscape justice, you have to see it from above. And this is that incredible view from above. That beautiful silvery blue ribbon of water carving through the valley is McDonald Creek. The ascent to Summit Pass is slow but absolutely beautiful. We're just soaking in the scenery, the first hints of gold in the trees and the deep green of the untouched northern forest. And now for a true rite of passage on any Alaska highway journey, the ever-present construction delay. You're never too far from one up here. You really have to appreciate the nerves of these construction crews. That excavator is perched on the shoulder, and the workers are right there on the cliff face. There's zero margin for error. It feels good to get out and stretch our legs. We're parked up at the beautiful Summit Lake rest area, and now we can get a proper look at our surroundings. For the serious hikers out there, this is the starting point for Summit Peak Trail. Don't let the short distance fool you. It's a notoriously difficult 4.2-mile climb, but your reward is a panoramic view from the top of the Northern Rockies. Now, we're not tackling the whole trail today. Our goal is much simpler. A short walk up the first section to see what the views are like from a little higher up. What have we here? It's a patch of mountain Avon seed heads. This is how the plant gets through the harsh winter, sending its future out on the wind to begin the cycle anew in the spring. With our short walk complete, it's time to continue the journey south. Now we begin the long descent from the pass, and the big question on our minds is, just how steep is the road going to be? So far, the grade down from the summit is pretty manageable, and we're now following the beautiful Tetsa River. And speaking of the Tetsa River, if you've been following us on this journey, you already know what's coming next. That's right, you guessed it. We're pulling into the Tetsa River Lodge, home of the legendary Alaska Highway cinnamon bun. First order of business, finding a place to park. There are several open sites in the campground, but for us, this is just a quick pit stop. Okay, I think we can parallel park right here. The truck still has room to pull out. You have to love the charm of this place. The rustic log porch is absolutely covered in these vibrant, colorful hanging baskets. It's such a beautiful and welcoming sight. The inside is a cozy mix of a rustic lodge and a gift shop, but we're trying not to get distracted. We're on a mission for one thing and one thing only. You know you're in for something special when you spot a Food Network award hanging on the wall. That's always a good sign. But are we too late? Well, it looks like we might be settling for their Canadian-backed bacon instead. But wait, as luck would have it, they do have more cinnamon buns. A fresh batch is just coming out of the kitchen. Mission accomplished. The legendary cinnamon buns are secured, and now we're heading back to the rig to sample our prize and hit the road again. Let us tell you, after trying a lot of cinnamon buns on this journey, these are the best we've had, bar none. Simply delicious. With that sugar rush officially kicking in, we're getting this rig back on the highway to finish the last leg of today's drive. Leaving Tetsa River Lodge, the drive becomes a beautiful, gentle descent. We're coasting through these rolling hills, and after our earlier fuel concerns, it's a very nice feeling to watch that gas gauge barely move. And before long, we're rolling into what feels like a major metropolis, Fort Nelson. After so many days in the wilderness, a town this size seems huge, and it's our first real chance to get properly provisioned. Another big advantage of being back in the larger town is much better gas prices. We're definitely taking this opportunity to fill up completely. With the truck full of fuel and food, we're ready for the final 112-mile push to a little place called Pink Mountain. It gets its famous name from the incredible pink glow that lights up the slopes at sunrise and sunset. And here we are. But of course, construction cones are blocking our left turn into the parking lot. So it's time for a little creative maneuvering. We're making a right, finding a spot to turn around, and then shooting the gap between the cones. Whew! After navigating that last little obstacle course, we are finally officially in the parking lot. Now, just to figure out where we check in, and we can finally call it a day. The lounge is probably as good a place as any to start. I'm pretty sure we're responsible for a significant reduction in the insect population of northern BC. That's quite the collection. And with check-in complete, it's time to head to our final spot for the night. The RV sites here are tucked away on a hill just behind the main building. Alongside the RV spots, there are a lot of permanent-looking cabins, and our guess is this place caters more to local industry workers than to travelers just passing through. The layout of this site is a little unconventional, but it actually works out to our advantage. We're able to treat it as a pull-through, which will make a really easy departure in the morning tomorrow. After a bit of impromptu leveling, the rig is finally stable. Now, the last step is to find those hookups and get us settled in for the night. Yes, we've definitely stayed in worse places. It's time to find some dinner, and the menu I spotted earlier at check-in looks pretty impressive for a roadhouse. We're heading back over to the main building to give it a try. This place is definitely oriented towards workers, which makes sense since this region is a huge hub for the oil and gas industry. Well, you can't come to a place like this and not try a drink called the Dirty Monkey. Dang gives in to temptation, and it's definitely a good call. This lodge is also one of the only stops in this area that stays open all year, and we're guessing that's thanks to the steady presence of local oil and gas workers. Alright, dinner is served. I'm having the steak and shrimp, and Dang's trying the fried platter. And you know what? We're pleasantly surprised. For a remote spot like this, it's actually pretty darn good. And with a surprisingly good dinner, our day comes to a perfect close. Thanks for coming along, and if you enjoyed this journey, hitting that like button is the best way to let us know. And if you want to join our adventure, please be sure to subscribe for the rest of this trip. In our next episode, we head south to the legendary town of Dawson Creek. We hope you'll join us then. But in the meantime, happy camping.